Apple is considering a subscription service for hardware. What are you guys' thoughts on that? To where you just like we subscribe to everything else. I got Dropbox. I subscribe to it. I just pay every month for it, and I just have it. What do you feel about? I'm just going to give Apple some money every month to just have a phone that is the newest phone. What are your thoughts on that?
Surprised it's not already went there because companies are proving that people are willing to pay for subscriptions, and subscriptions pad the bottom line consistently versus me buying a piece of hardware once, keeping it for 5, 6 years, even though people hardly don't keep phones that long anyway, which may be going what Apple is kind of using as a metric as to why they're doing this. Because even though, phones, I can buy an iPhone 10 right now and it'd be perfectly operable with all the latest iOS's, got all the latest features, but it's like 3, 4 versions back. I can buy that phone and be perfectly happy, but people are not doing that. It seems like people are getting the latest phone, and Apple's like, all right, why don't you just do that forever? So I can see Apple trying it. Um, I don't think it'll be a big deal because we have already shown that we're willing to pay
I
for all these
know.
subscriptions. We've already shown it.
I'm of a couple different minds about this. What as I was digging a little bit further into what may be offered with the hardware, it would be probably some version of the Apple One that already exists, where you get Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple News,
Apple
I have an
Story.
Apple One subscription currently, just
Mm-hmm.
to why I'm saying, and it would make it a lot more convenient and possibly cheaper to roll all of that up into with the phone in all of that and getting the new
Mm-hmm.
phones and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends though. If it's actually going to be more cost effective, then maybe. But it I just think about the idea of everything being subscription as a service these days. All of this SaaS stuff that's happening these days. I feel like somehow, people of lower incomes are going to get left out of this type of thing. You know what I mean? Because maybe you can get your income tax refund and buy a new phone, but maybe you don't have an extra $50 a month to pay for a subscription service for your phone. You know what I mean? Because that's just for the phone and the stuff. That ain't the phone bill. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You still got the phone bill on top of all of this too. So I just feel like with the rise of all of these various different streaming subscription blah 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 blah, that the people at the bottom are going to be left out of the ability to take advantage of some of this stuff, and that may mean that now they don't get to have an iPhone, and you could say, well, if you don't make enough money, then you don't get to have. But that's super classist, and that shouldn't be a barrier to everybody being able to enjoy and utilize technology to its fullest. So there's something about this that doesn't sit that great with me. However, if it does benefit me financially, I would probably look into it and maybe do it.
And it may just be six in one hand, half dozen in the other, because if Apple can show metrics that says most of our customers are buying or doing the installment plans on a new phone every 2 years, then it would make more sense for those people just to do a rent a phone to where you pay $20, $30 extra, $50 depending on the top end model, and you just get a new phone every year. Again, it makes sense to do that, but that's the same argument as a car note, right? Now, an iPhone ain't thousands of dollars, $800 a month, however much you would pay for a typical car note, but that's been the argument for years. Well, if you're the average American buys a new car every 3 to 5
Yeah, I
years,
guess I ain't the average American.
Mm.
me neither, right? But most people, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a statistician. I don't watch this, but it's a safe bet to say that most people upgrade their car every 3 to 5 years. So then they say, oh, okay, so why don't you just lease a car? All you got to
Mhm.
do is pay however much 3,000, $5,000 for the lease, And then at the end of the 3 months, you just turn the car back in. You get a new car. You don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to worry about this and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But me knowing in the back of my mind, I don't want a car note. If I stay within my means and buy a car I can afford, pay the car off, yeah, I may have to worry about maintenance, but that's like money in my pocket that I could use towards something else over the life of me owning the vehicle. Like I said, me and my wife, we got an SUV that's 10 years old, and we gonna ride that joint until the wheels fall off. Because we know I don't have to have that extra payment, car note, coming out of my thing every month. And that goes right back to what you said, Stephanie, about, maybe it gets to that and Google starts doing it and Samsung starts doing it. And then all the ATT, Verizon, Wireless, all of them follow that line. Then that may push some people out because they may have $200-$300 at one time to get a phone, but they ain't got $50 a month, and then
it's a lot. It starts adding up when you look at the grand scheme of things. What you think, Rob?
When we're not adding up yet.
So I'm in the middle, so I can actually see where this could be beneficial to someone. So I think of my parents. My dad just got a new iPhone 13 like in the last week or two. He got a brand new iPhone 12 exactly a year ago. He got a brand new iPhone 11 exactly 2 years ago. He got a 10 exactly 3 years ago. So he's
just one of them people that's just wants a new hotness every year.
So he is on some AT&T plan to where he pays them whatever it is he pays them per month. And as soon as he can get a new phone, he walks into the store, pulls his phone out of the case, hands it to them and says, "Give me something new." And then walks back out. And he does it every single year without fail. And it's like, Dad, you really don't need to upgrade your phone that much because he is not using anything on that iPhone 13 that he just got that the iPhone 12 that he had before couldn't do.
Right.
It's like, doesn't matter. Want a new one. Okay, well, that's the reason. So that is the reason why he is getting one. So for him, if it actually cost him a little bit less I'm just going to give you money every month and I just have a new phone. Whenever a new phone comes out, you just send it to me and I send you the old one. And that cost him a little less, or it's just, even if it costs the same, but it is more convenient to having it because he physically goes to the store to, to replace his phones. If that were the case, then it's worth it to him. Anyone that I think is going to be upgrading their phone every year. And we know there's a lot of folks that do it. It's like every year a new iPhone comes out, they get a new iPhone. Hey, it might make sense for you in the same way that, I'm like you guys. I will drive a car till the brakes, fall off the car. But there are a lot of folks, I'm thinking I have family members. They should never have a car for more than 4 to 5 years because ultimately.
Oh, that was my dad. My dad kept a new car every 2 years, probably.
And and some shouldn't even go, I said 4 to 5, some shouldn't even go that long. And it's like, you should get a new car every 3 years. When those warranties start getting up, now it is time for you to go and replace it. So if you're going to be that person to where you're going to be in a perpetual car note to where you're literally just paying for a car note month after month, year after year, decade after decade, then why not lease it? Because it's like, are you really losing money? Well, if you were to buy the car at the end of it, then maybe, yeah. But if you're not going to do that, if you're going to, every time your lease comes up, if you're on a 24 or 36 month lease and, so every 2 or 3 years, you're giving that car back and you're getting another car for roughly the same payment, then yeah, might as well go ahead and do that. So I can see where this would be of benefit to some folks. To your point about, iPhones are expensive. They are. And another thing that I think Apple sees is that, we have the iPhone. What is it called? The iPhone SE, the little one that they just came out with a new one. Yeah, we have that. But for what you spend on that, you can get a really, really good Android phone. So they might just be trying to protect their bottom line, protect to their bottom side, because iPhones are premium devices. They cost more than Android devices. I think I meant to say iPhones are premium. They cost more than Android. And they are. And I mean, clearly there are some Android, phones out there that are really expensive. In fact, I think the most expensive phones are probably Android phones, but also the most inexpensive phones are also Android phones. And I think Apple could, with this type of program, they might be saying it's like, this person may not be able to just come up with $1,000 today for the phone, right? But if I can get them on $50 a month forever, well, I'm gonna make my money back.
And Apple could be trying to hide the fact that if you do a little bit of research, if you do a little bit of work, if you're willing to get a not as new phone, you probably could come out of $300 or $400, like I said before, get that iPhone 10
Hmm.
and be all with the same features, with the same functionality. Camera is, you barely can tell the difference, yada yada yada. But then I think Apple knows that people won't do that research,
Yeah.
so they're looking at the new phone that comes out, compares that with everything else, say I want this one, and then so Apple says, all right, well, we got a way you could do that.
Won't cost it. Well, I got a couple things. I think, the same way we just talked about the carriers getting in their feelings about, the messaging standards needing to be the same across the board. I think the carriers may start getting in their feelings if it turns out more people are using Apple's subscription model as opposed to their installment plan. It'll be curious to see what sort of battle starts happening when AT&T starts to see people migrate off of their installment plan for Apple's subscription model,
Mm-hmm.
and they start losing that money. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. And two, I'm curious as to whether or not Apple can sustain this, because now if you have, people getting new phones every year or however long, you got to have new phones to give them. And
Mm-hmm.
Apple just recently decreased the production of the SE. It's funny you mentioned the SE, Rob, because Apple just decreased the production of the SE by 20% due to, the war in Ukraine and supply chain and yada yada yada. So is that going to get disrupted every time a major world event happens? And now Apple ain't got enough phones, because I tell you what, if y'all done lock me into a 2 or 3 year contract where I'm paying $75 a month to have a new
I want
phone
the new
plus all these
phone
services,
on the
I
day
want my
one.
new phone. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you telling me, well,
Day
supply
one.
is low and we couldn't make enough phones this year and blah blah blah. Everybody's going to want that new phone. So
Mm-hmm. Because I'm paying
we'll see.
for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if the supply chain issues even make this something that is sustainable.
I will give Apple this. They usually don't have them kind of problems. They're when the iPhone first came out, when people were standing in line for them, that was kind of ridiculous. But since that kind of went away, and Terrance, you could probably talk to this better than I can. If you order something quick enough, you get it when they say you're going to get it. It's
Right.
rare that you have to wait months to get something from Apple.
True, but you got to be on it. And if you're not on
Yeah.
it, that delivery date, just me buying a phone, if I'm gonna buy a new phone, I want it the day it comes out. I want it at my
Mm-hmm.
door, by the time I take lunch on Friday, if not sooner, right? But you got to be on it. You got to be up at, whatever the Eastern Pacific time, whatever that calculates to. And if you're not one of those people, you may wake up on Saturday and go, oh yeah, the new phone did come out. Well, I ain't got to worry about that because I'm
Because
on the
I got
rental
a
plan.
subscription.
Because I
Because I
got the
got a
rental
plan,
plan.
and I
So
shouldn't
I
have
can
to
order
be
it.
waiting
So
at midnight to press enter to
If
get
I
my
have this,
phone if I'm paying for a subscription.
yeah,
and then Apple, historically speaking, Apple, Rob, they have been able to deliver, but they haven't been able to deliver within a couple of days of me clicking purchase. And if you watch Be Up Like I Am, the dates will slip quick from the day it's supposed to launch to 2 weeks
mm-hmm.
until 3 weeks until a month later. And I don't want to wait a month later. If you
Right.
charge me now, charge me a month
Yeah.
later.
And like I said, they already changing production numbers now based on whatever, that could happen at any time.
I would
So
hope they would get that part figured out, because I'm
yeah,
like you guys. If I'm
because if I'm
paying you
paying,
for a subscription,
right,
why do I have to actually do anything? Why did the phone not just show up?
it should
It's
just
like
show
you
up,
you
right?
should have notified me your phone has been shipped and is on the way. That's really all I
Absolutely.
need if I'm paying a subscription. Not saying
And
Absolutely.
that
I'm
it's
pretty
going
sure
to
that's
be
not
that
the
way.
case.
I was going to say I'm not saying
That's
that's
how
going
it
to be
should
the case,
be.
but yeah, that's how I would want
It
it to
should be
be.
like Christmas. Oh my God, my
Yeah,
phone's here. I forgot all about that. Yeah,
No,
it has been a
no.
year. That's right. Here go
right.
my phone.
Apple
That's
is
how it should be.
betting, just like these subscription services, they're betting on you setting it up and then forgetting about it. And then you look
True.
up
But
and
that
then,
ain't gonna
oh, I
happen
got
with
to jump
no
through some
whole ass
extra hoops
iPhone.
to make sure I get the next phone, which will give them some leeway to get some other people who are on it. And then now you complaining because you can't get
Yeah,
your phone
that
when
ain't
you
gonna
want
happen with no iPhones though.
it.
You ain't gonna forget that like you forgot to cancel
Nah.
that Prime membership.